What up, guys? Welcome to Base Damage. This week we got podcast number 26. And coming in this week, sadly, from the main group is just me. But I am greatly honored this week to have our first outside of the group guest, Mr. Joseph Asper. What's up, bro?
Hello, how are you doing?
Man, doing great. And like when you first contacted me a while back about trying to do this, I was like, shoot, this is amazing. Like I just was ecstatic about being able to just kind of reach out. Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you messaged me, you're like, here's my credentials, bro. I won the Texas Regionals in 2016. And I'm like, wait, what? For real? Holy shit. So I am just like freaking out. I'm like calling up Joe Schmo. I'm calling up people and just going, hey guys. So I have more people messaging me who have like won regionals and shit, and they're like, wait, what? So it was this whole great thing. I was just glad that to hear from you, bro. So man, how have you been?
Oh, I've been well, and I thank you once more for allowing this to happen. I mean, I'm very excited. I bet you're excited, and I love your channel and all your videos, and it's very great that you're expanding.
Oh man, it's much appreciated because, like, when we first kind of started off, like I kind of would like try to think of new things to do, and this is kind of part of that like vision of, man, that would be cool to have like guests, like other people who've won stuff.
Oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
So this is a first big step in that direction. So I'm really glad for that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Before we get into discussing more of it, I want to just give two quick announcements. First being one of my buddies. We're trying to basically help a buddy promote a D&D charity stream that him and a couple of his buddies are doing. They're continuing right now. They're continuing for the charity for the Children's Miracle Network, for the Children's Hospital Network, something or other. I keep butchering it every week, and I apologize. But basically, they are doing a D&D campaign. It's a 5th edition, but they've just seen how that's rolling. Like he says, he mostly does I think he said 3.5. I could be wrong. But they are doing a really awesome charity for that. If any of y'all would want to check that out, there will be a link in the description. I think they mostly do the streams on weekends. If y'all would please check that out, help him out, be super appreciated. The other is that our next tournament, me and Mr. Dead Sea are planning a couple special conditions for the next tournament and extra prize support. So that hopefully will go super awesome because we got a lot more people voting in the last one than we expected. But yeah. So that was basically just it. The next giveaway being with that tournament. And we're fixing up the prize support for that. So that'll be hopefully more news of that coming out pretty soon. Like mid-April. Somewhere around there. But yeah, let's see. Let's get right into this. Basically, I was like, bro, do you care if I ask you some questions and whatnot? He's just like, go for it. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, bro, let's get into this. So you won the Texas Regionals for 2016.
Oh yes.
Second place was you ran Yellow Green Contai.
Yes.
Link in the description. The second place was Harrison Grandish, who ran Angel Beats, which that kind of surprised me when I look back over that.
Oh yeah, it was very surprising to see such an underrated deck in second place. I was like, whoa, I'm playing against Angel Beats, and I was shocked, but it was awesome.
Yeah. And then you look at third place, which was Michael Broderick running Cinderella Girls, and it was the Nation Blue build, to which I kind of thought that between that and the Angel Beats would have been switched there, but it was like,
oh yeah,
dude, awesome. As far as the top 4 cut, do you know who was in fourth place for that?
I believe it was another guy from our locals.
Hmm.
He ran Kantai, but I'm not exactly 100% sure. I know I played him during semifinals
Hmm.
and I knocked him out. So it was him and it was one other player. I believe, I don't know who the other player was, but it was one of those two.
Okay, so you played him in semifinals. That means the Angel Beats and the Cinderella Girls guy played in the semifinals, like against each other.
No, no, no. Okay, that's
Okay.
another issue that they had with their they had a little problem when they announced like, oh, these people played each other when they post the bracket on, social media.
Okay.
And it was semifinals, it was I believe the Idolmaster and Attack on Titan versus they were against each other. And then
Okay.
it was me and then another Contai player. We were both using yellow green Contai.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool beans. Okay. Okay. Uh, it's interesting how Bushiroad does their final standings thing. I mean, I guess they got a system. I don't know it in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, okay, but that's still really cool. Like, especially like you said, the rogue deck of I say rogue deck, but just that random occurrence of the Angel Beats thing. And I looked over it. I'm like,
Yes, yes.
so that's really cool. But getting a little further into this, want to go a little bit more in depth on you as a player. Um,
All right.
how long have you been playing Weiss Schwarz total?
Okay, so I've been playing Weiss. This will mark my second year anniversary. I started right as Attack on Titan became a set. I was
Ooh,
like, ooh, AOT is becoming a set. And my friends were like, hey, Attack on Titan's one of your favorite anime. Why don't you get into it? So I was like, okay, why not? And that's when I got summer of, I believe last year.
I think you're correct on that. That is cool, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Okay, so then like leading, you're like, okay, we got AOT, and then there's Fleet Girls. What is this madness? And
Oh yeah. Okay, so I swapped to Fleet Girls rather recently because I
Mhm.
used to play I played casually Weiss. I never took anything competitive.
Mhm.
And yes, AOT is, top meta, but I didn't really care back then. I just played
Bro,
whatever I wanted.
hell
Heck, I
yeah.
even made a Blue Titans deck just to have fun with it. And until recently I was like, why don't I actually get competitive?
Mhm.
So I got a Contai deck, and I actually borrowed half the deck from my friend. Shoutouts to Sean Imperial.
Mhm.
He gave me half his Contai deck. I was like, okay, let me win this for the both of us because he wasn't able to attend. So I
Bruh,
combined both their decks together, and there we go. I made the winning deck.
that is awesome right there. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
seems like a plot out of a movie. It's just like, bro, I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna win it. It's like that just seems so cool to
Oh
me,
yeah.
dude.
I know.
So that okay. So as far as that, so you attended that when you attended the Dallas regionals. Um, how many different regional events have you been into? Or I can't even say just regionals. I mean, it could be regionals, continentals. How many of those have you been
Yes.
to in total over the course of like? It could be for any card game.
Okay, so for Weiss specifically, I have been to three. That
Mm-hmm.
includes one Spring Fest,
Mm-hmm.
Houston Regionals, and then recently Dallas for
Okay,
the Championship Series.
cool beans, man. All right. As far as for the Texas, well, all these at that point live in Texas. Okay, now that I'm doing my math
Oh
right.
yeah.
Um, so for the one that you won for that overall regionals, how was that experience to you? Like, um,
Okay.
was it a big number of
Um,
people?
I believe so. It was definitely over 100. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know the specific number of people. I'd
Mm-hmm.
love to say 130 to 40, one of those two numbers. But
Mm-hmm.
it was a very, very interesting experience. I didn't even know I was going to win. My goal was actually to just make top eight, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd be satisfied. And I told my friends, hey, it seems like we're going to be going home early because I'm not going to be winning. He played buddy fights and he wasn't winning, so we're like, okay, we'll just pack our bags and get going early. But then I started winning every game, and I was like, hey, this is actually scary. I actually might make top eight. And he was like, wow, okay, let's see you do that. And apparently I kept winning. I never lost until the final game of rounds. I lost that one. I was like,
Mhm.
whoa, I am 5-1 and I lost the last game. I think I'm going to make top 8. And he was like, whoa, you just gave yourself good luck. And I was like, it's okay. I'll get eliminated early. We'll still leave early. And I just never got eliminated. I kept winning. I was like, whoa. My friend was like, hey, you promised we're going to leave 5 hours ago, and you're just winning. We're not leaving. What's up?
It's like he was
So,
having bad luck that makes you keep having good luck. That is
yes, exactly.
that's
It was
great,
really
dude.
funny.
I know he just got to be sitting over there at the corner at this point, going, "Okay, I need to go. What the fuck?"
Yep, that was exactly him.
Oh my god. Okay. Damn. Okay. Let's bounce into uh the deck itself. I know you said you picked basically from your cards and your buddies. Um,
Yes.
I'll bounce into the deck profile. Um,
Okay.
I know you told me. You mentioned earlier. There's only 3 winter moment Akatsuki's because that's all you had at the time.
Yes, that's all I had. If I had a fourth, I'd actually run the fourth. But I had 3, and it worked out well.
Mm-hmm.
Some games I couldn't use her effects simply because I didn't have the fourth,
Mm-hmm.
but I still managed. I had other search engines.
Had you had the 4th, what would you have taken out?
Okay, if I had the fourth, personally, I would probably limit, let's say, I could limit one of the level zeros.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, it would be Clumsy Girl. I would take one out, make it 3, and then add a Winter's Moment, so make
Mm-hmm.
that 4. Another thing I could have replaced was the level 2, the Type 3 Submarine
Mm-hmm.
I-8 Akai. I could have taken that out because I never really use it. I use it probably once or twice in the whole 8 or 7 rounds I played, but it was okay.
If she gets pretty big and can get over stuff,
Oh
um,
yeah, she does.
but it's understandable. Like I like the tech of the level 1 version of I-8 because that's just some really good search if the Shimikazes aren't coming off.
Yes, exactly. If I don't get a Shimikaze, or if I just need a card, then I go ahead and I use the effect, and there we go. I got my
Mm-hmm.
Shimikaze, my climax. I'm ready to reverse.
There you go. Um, as far as other tech choices in here, I noticed some people will run the Kaga, some people don't. Like,
Oh yes.
uh,
Kaga, my friend was like, "Hey, why don't you use Kaga?" At first I was, weary or whatever,
mhm.
and then I was like, you know what, fine, I guess I can use it. That's actually another card I could have replaced if I had a fourth Winter Moment. I didn't have
Mhm.
one, so I just put in the Kaga. And funny story is, the whole entire tournament, I did not even play her. She was literally just a dead card out there. I was like, okay, you know what? I know exactly what card not to use next time.
It's like, well, we know it's about to be clock fodder.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's basically I just use it to clock.
like, I've seen other people actually do put it in. Like, I guess that 1500 global buff is pretty damn cool.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
global buff is good, and also it gives you 4 soul to a character. That's more of a YOLO effect. You just
yeah.
want to end the game or whatever, but it works sometimes.
That's like, your opponent's going to try to poke with this one character. It's like, I'm going to give you 4 soul and I have a compass in hand. Let's see how this goes.
Yep, exactly.
God. I mean, that's understandable. Like, I figured out, like, because a lot of people look at the effect and just kind of go, what the hell? And I'm like, no, bro, believe me, it's a last ditch effort.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
pray
it,
that
it
you don't
works
do this.
sometimes. Exactly, yes.
But, golly. Alright. Uh, as far as, I've seen people bounce around the number for compass. Do you, like, as far as a recommended number for compass, I see you're running 3. Do you feel like that was a good ratio for that as far as just, like, sticking at that number or what? Uh-oh. Call didn't drop. Are we good? I think the call didn't drop.
It didn't drop.
We're good.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, bro.
All right, so sorry about that.
It's fine.
Statistics, I was looking into it and I was like, you know what, four compass, why don't I try that? But then I was like, no, I gotta get three just for consistency. And I also had help from other players. Shout out to Riaz.
Hmm.
He told me you should only play three just because you don't always want it in your hand and you don't want it to become a dead card. So I
Hmm.
was like, okay, three is good enough. And I use it frequently, once a game. Sometimes I even used it like two times. I remember during round three, I believe, I used it four times, and not in a row, but I used it four times. And
Hmm.
although my opponent was pretty ticked off, it was funny in the end.
There's a reason this card causes frustrations for people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
but But dude, I look at this build, like, I know that you said there's changes that could have been done, but I do like the deck build overall. Just really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. Um, but the link for this will be in the description. The original uh, deck list that that's posted on the English Weiss Schwarz page is incorrect. So he's like, so you sent me this, and we're going to post this up so people can be like, okay, this is the legit thing.
Yeah, the one on the Weiss Schwarz page, I don't know,
Mhm.
they goofed up. Maybe my handwriting was bad, they couldn't read, but they just put in cards that you'll just not see in a regular Contai deck. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, that's not right.
All right. But I mean, that's cool. So we got that straight. So the next part being, um, in the very last game that you played, what was it that you played against?
I played against Harrison's Angel Beats, and I
Mhm.
believe he was using the weapons build.
Mhm.
It was a very interesting game because Harrison himself said that he never really played against Contai, especially during the actual rounds. So he said that Contai would actually be a weakness to him, and I was surprised.
Mhm.
But then we started playing, I see, oh, he's salvaging. In fact, during the game, he knew that I had my anti-salvage on field,
Mhm.
and he still did the salvage. He was like,
Yeah.
no, I need to salvage. I'll give everyone -3 souls. And I was shocked at first, but apparently Angel Beats, the deck revolves around salvaging. So I was
Mhm.
like, oh no, you needed to do that. So you couldn't do it. So my deck countered you. And he was like, yeah, Contai does wreck Angel Beats.
Yeah, I've seen that happen where it's like, maybe the first attack you don't like get a trigger or whatever, but then like even the second and third attacks be salvage triggers, and they're like, I know what's going to happen, but I gotta have the hand advantage type thing. So,
Uh-huh. Exactly. He
so
needed the cards, so he's like, I'll do it.
especially if like close to a refresh, they just kind of opt for the minus soul, and it's just like, I'm sorry,
Oh
bro,
yeah.
this is probably going to cost you, but go for it. Um, but I mean that's cool. And like that kind of surprises me that he didn't play any other content. I guess, like you said, that was after AOT came out, so he probably had to worry about those a bit more.
Yeah, our regionals did have quite the bit amount of AOT players, so
Mhm.
he was probably worried. I did remember he was beating a few AOT players, and I was like, oh, okay, so your deck is countered, centered around beating AOT. It's like, yeah,
Mhm.
I do pretty good against those decks or whatever.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, you focus on that. But I was pretty surprised how he managed to clean out Attorney without facing any real Contai players. It
Yeah.
was kind of surprising because Contai is like the top deck back then. We
Mhm.
didn't have to love Roost, so it was like, okay.
Yeah. Because then, like at that point, you gotta like I probably can go back and look up like the percentage ratio of what was represented. Um,
Oh yeah, yes.
but
I don't know the specifics on that, but I'm sure Idolmaster and Attack on Titan were two big decks.
mhm.
Sal was also a big deck out there. There was quite the number of Contai players.
Mhm.
I remember facing one or two Love Life players somewhere out there,
Mhm.
and the rest were just random rogue decks or under tier decks.
Shout outs to Joe Schmo on those Love Live decks there. He loves them.
Yeah. one of my hardest matches, I believe it was round 5, was against the Love Life deck. In fact, I only won against him because he was on 3-6, and he was about to do his attacks, but he drew his last card. So he
Oh,
had to take the refresh penalty, which is
hmm
non-negatable, and
yeah.
that sent him to level 4, and that was a game.
Oh man, that's the games that are so damn close, and it's like no. Oh
Yeah, it
man.
was a really good game. In fact, it was all in his favor. I was going to lose, but he just had the clock.
Ah man. Damn. What build do you remember? Do you remember what build for Love Live was it?
He did use some Hayanos, Nico. He used the Nico
Nico.
build, so he was doing those clock kickers, I
hmm
believe. I don't know what else he used. Maybe a Maki or something out
hmm
there, but it was one of those. Probably it
Yeah.
was like a homebrew Love Life build or something.
That would have been before the DX2 Volume 2, where they got more of their clock kick stuff. So I think you're right. I think the Nico was the bigger clock kick for that one.
Yes, yes.
Because they got like two clock shoots in the DX2 Volume 2, and I'm looking at this going, well, I know what they're pointing us towards. Like,
Oh yeah, yes. They're
um,
trying to make it more like Contai, with all those clock shooters.
God, it is. I mean, guaranteed damage is guaranteed, but yeah,
Yep,
it
definitely.
it is interesting. So as far as your matchups, which is the with yeah, I can't talk straight with the which match was your favorite?
My favorite match would have to be, I will actually say it was the first match. It was
hmm
me versus Levi AOT deck, and
Oh,
the reason why I liked it was because the guy was rather friendly. He
hmm
wasn't necessarily a veteran at the game, but he wanted to learn. He was like, "Hey, I might not win this game, but I want to learn, and I know you know AOT real good, so why don't you help me out with, if I'm doing something wrong at the end of the game, you tell me whatever."
hmm
And I was like, okay, let's go ahead and play. And apparently, he was doing pretty good. He was doing his Levi restand. He got the Mikasa early game. I was like, wow, you're doing pretty good out there. And I was like, thank you very much. I was researching, AOT. I was looking into the game a lot, and I really want to get in the game.
hmm
And we both were laughing, throwing jokes left and right, and it was just an overall fun game. I wasn't stressed. He wasn't stressed. We had a very good game. I only won by 2 damage, so he did a pretty good job on me.
Okay. Uh, I prefer those games that are close like that because it means it to me that it means more in the end type thing. So you
Oh
really
yes,
enjoy
it
those.
does.
hmm
Oh yes, yes.
I can't tell you how many times I've won still at level 2, but at the same time
Oh
it's
my.
like all right, it's down to the wire. We are literally going YOLO plays.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
hmm so and the Levi decks are really good. Like I ain't even gonna try to sugarcoat that at all. That's
Oh
just
yeah.
straight good.
In
Um,
fact, he managed to pull the whole combo. He got the heal where he brings the character out from the clock. He
ooh,
did the restand. I was like, whoa, you're doing everything perfectly.
bruh, nice. I love hearing stories like that. That is just so freaking awesome.
Oh yes.
Um, but that being favorite, which one would you consider to be your least favorite from the entire thing?
Least favorite game, okay, it would have to be semi-final game, and all the people in Houston know about this story, so I might as well say it
hmm
here. So semi-final was me versus a guy who actually he goes to our locals, and I'm like, oh no, I have to knock someone out that I'm really, from my own place. Why am I doing this? It
hmm
hurts me when I have to do that because it's basically like you versus yourself. You're basically trying to, yeah, I want, more of my locals or whatever to win, but sadly I have to knock him out and bring him the top 3 or top 4, whatever, to play
Yeah.
for 3rd place. But the reason why I didn't like it, A, it was a mirror match. So I was once more, I was playing against my own self.
hmm
We had we had a few cards that are different in our decks, but we were both playing yellow green. And the problem was, um, we were both making mistakes, especially me, and they were simple mistakes. Like when you play a gold bar, you do the stalk and then you draw or whatever.
Hmm.
When you declare an attack, you attack first, and then after taking damage, you reverse or whatnot.
Hmm.
And they were very basic rules, but because we had a judge on us, we were both taking warnings and cautions. I was like, oh no, apparently we're going to lose because we get called out by a judge. And so I think it was 3 cautions per 1 warning, and 2 warnings mean you automatically lose the game. And it came to the point where we both were making, they were very small, minor mistakes. They wouldn't really have changed the game that much, but technically they were ruling and the judge had to call them out.
Yeah.
So it ended up me with five cautions. So that's 1 warning and 2 cautions, and my opponent at 4 cautions. So if I had one more caution out at me, I would have automatically I had to concede the game.
Yeah.
But luckily, and here's the crazy part, I was like, oh no, when level 3 comes up, I'm going to mess up somewhere with something with Akagi, where you have to do like the stalks to they have to all go to the waiting room or whatever. I was like, oh no, I'm going to lose there or whatever. And I was level 2, he was level 3. So I was like, you know what? Game over. I brought my back row, my 2 back row characters up front. I just played one level 1, I think a Shimikaze or something.
Hmm.
No climax. I just was like, all right, you know what? Suicide everything. So I just suicided everything, and I managed to win the game without any caution. I was like, ooh, this was a
God.
very close and bad game.
Oh my God, that's insane. Like
Yes, at the end of the game, I was like shaking. It was
yeah,
me and him we were surprised.
shoot, I would be too in that situation. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
I understand what you're saying coming from like the judges. It's simple shit, but the judges have to call it. But it's
Yes, they
like,
have to call it.
yeah. At the same time, I know those judges are probably like, "Oh, come on,
Yeah, I bet so.
man."
Now it's like a joke. It was a
Yeah,
funny thing. Oh, cautions or whatever.
yeah.
But during final round, this is an actual thing. Everyone knows I played like a robot because I was like, oh no, I'm not going to repeat this mistake again. So I literally transferred over final round like a robot. I wouldn't smile. I wouldn't laugh. I would just, play like as if I was a robot, doing every single move in the deck. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's because I don't want to risk getting disqualified for my caution.
That's understandable. I wouldn't fault you for that in any way, shape, or form. After,
Oh yeah,
especially the round prior to it, and now you're going for essentially all the marbles. Yeah, no,
exactly. Yeah,
bruh, I would probably do the same thing and just mentally shut myself out of everything else.
exactly. Yep, that's how I
God,
was.
I don't blame you one bit. Um, Damn. So after all of that, did you end up going to the Continentals?
Okay, so apparently Continentals they were during my finals, during my biology final for college. So I was like, oh no, I can't make it. I have to hand it down to the Angel Beats player. So I did so, and it was very dramatic. He was happy. He like tears were from it coming out of his eyes.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm doing him a big favor because I'm handing him down a free invitation to Continentals, which he
Hmm.
did go for me. And he gave me a binder full of Sal 1 cards. I was like, it was probably 5 or 4 full play sets of the Sal 1 set.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh my, thank you very much. I'm telling you, the binder had a few $100s in it. It was like, this is my token, my small token of appreciation because you're giving me a free invitation to go on. I was like, thank you very much. Just do me one thing. And he asked what? I was like, win first place for both of us. And we
Bruh.
both laughed at that. So it was very great.
That is awesome. Damn that. That just,
So it just ended in a happy story, like a happy ending,
yeah.
basically there.
That is like ideal, really awesome happy ending right there. Like
Exactly.
down to the wire. Like these matches going on, and it's like, well, bruh, I can't go, but go for me. And just the dude,
Exactly. And I
hell.
knew this prior to finals, but I was like, you know what? Let me not tell him because if I don't tell him, maybe he'll try harder. Because if I
Hmm.
tell him, he'll be like, okay, you know what? I can lose. It doesn't matter. I didn't tell him on purpose just so I can see him actually try hard. And he did his best because, you know, I was countering him, but he tried his very hardest
Hmm.
against me.
Which that's really cool,
Oh,
dude. Because
yes.
I really like that. Like, oh man, dude,
Yup.
dude, man, who played the Angel Beats deck. If you are listening to this, kudos to you, just straight up. So,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
man, alrighty. So, even though you weren't able to go to that, as far as later in the year, when all is said and done, and the World's Championship, the entire after all continentals and everybody's getting for the World's tournament, uh, what are your thoughts on the results from that? Because AOT ended up winning it, and that was pretty damn cool. Like we just did
It
a
was very cool.
yeah.
So I believe this is the second year in a row AOT got first place in Worlds, or they got top three in general. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, AOT is repping, and AOT was my
Mm-hmm.
best set, my favorite set back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy. I was sad that Clinton got eliminated. It was a
Yeah.
very tough game he went against, and Clinton's one of the better players out there. So I was like, all right, let's go, man. Shout outs to you, Clinton, if you're listening.
Bruh.
Our finals winner, Mr. Anime, as I call him, because he loves anime, apparently he won, and he was using the level 1 Mikasa combo. And first thing I did after he won, I messaged him. I was like, hey, man, your build is horrible. I don't like your build. You need Levi's, because he doesn't believe in Levi's. I was like, oh no, this guy's triggering me hard. You don't use Levi, the best guy in the set? And then he was like, he starts pointing out all these things, like, you know, Levi, he's very risky sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own reasoning. I don't know exactly the full context to it, but he seems very knowledgeable about the
Mm-hmm.
game. And I do hope he wins again this year. He makes through Vancouver, where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, he'll qualify and go on to Japan once more. I don't know if he'll be using AOT again because now we have Talovru, and Talovru
Yeah.
has the, you know, it could counter and do some problems.
It will be interesting how that turns out because that's one of the sets that I am ready to see just how much it does. I know it's going to be very
Definitely.
very competitive in English meta, so I'm ready to
Oh,
start seeing
yes.
those results and seeing how that goes. Especially like the I mean I've seen a lot of similarities in the builds. You know, looking up the deck builds and whatnot. So I'm interested to see what
Uh-huh.
variations people will do.
Oh,
So.
yeah. And in Dallas, a few people did indeed play Talovru, so it was
Mhm.
like, okay, we're going on closer to the Japanese format there.
Did you just see the yellow green builds? Because I've also been messing with Alien. Like, uh,
Okay, yes, I did not see Animal, and I did not see Alien to my knowledge. Now,
mhm,
maybe there was someone using an Alien out there,
yeah.
but I only saw Yellow-Green. About
Mhm.
8, 9 players used the Yellow-Green Televu build.
I can I would figure that most everyone who picked that up would be running that. Like I've just been like screwing
Yes.
around with Alien because it seems pretty consistent, but everything has its issues, you know.
Yeah, when it comes to Televu, I always say this. Alien and Animal are very fun decks to
Mhm.
play, and housekeeping slash transformation, or
Mhm.
trans as they call in English,
Yeah,
that's the, you know, competitive top deck. If you
yeah.
want to have fun, you play Alien or Animal.
Oh yeah. Which I plan to be doing. I plan to be testing that out this coming up weekend. So
Oh,
uh,
it'll be fun.
that'll be interesting to watch the salt just brewing. You know. Uh,
Yup.
God. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like you said for the Mikasa, for the guy running the Mikasa, I guess everyone has their own play style, which is pretty cool. And it was
Yes.
interesting to see that kind of build.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
used the salvage. And let me say this: we only had one anti-salvage back then, which is the Kantai one.
The
But
Hatsu.
now that we have yes, now that we have Televeru, I kind of doubt that it would be doing as good as it did back then. And I
Yeah.
don't know if he's going to be using again or not. He does have his own reasonings behind it, but if he does use it again, he has to be more on the caution for Televeru.
Most definitely. Let's see. I think. All right, we're almost done with the questions that I had, but we'll just be
Uh-huh.
trying to wrap it up in a bit here anyway. Um, Overall, across all of Weiss Schwarz, which card would you say is your favorite card of all time?
All right, my favorite card of all time has to be Compass. And the reasoning
Yes.
behind this is because of how much salt uh, appears with your opponent when you play the Compass.
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially it digs through your deck. And even if you don't get that climax, you're still milling through your deck. So you're getting closer to a climax.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just a fun card to play and to, make salt go in the air.
Absolutely. I have a strong love-hate relationship for Compass. Like, it has saved my ass a whole bunch, but
Oh, yeah.
there's been a couple occasions. You may have seen this on you probably heard us talk about this. I call it getting Compass wrecked, where
Uh-huh.
one guy I was playing. It was just our locals, but the fact that this occurred was beyond me. Um,
Uh-huh.
he had played. It was a Fate deck that I was running against, and it was like the Archer build with like the burn stuff. The way he had set it up, I
Yeah.
had to go ahead and use a compass to basically just be able to stop one of these archers from burning me to death.
Yeah.
And I used it, and I milled 3 climaxes off of it.
Oh my goodness.
And we did the
Oh my.
math. Bro, if we did
That
we did
is
the math,
crazy.
if I had not done the compass, everything would have like I would have taken like 2 damage total and just would have wrecked him the next turn. But after that,
That is
everything
crazy.
else stuck.
Oh my, that is really crazy. And let me tell you this, round 1 of my Dallas regionals, I was against an Umi deck, and that sort of happened to me. I did the compass and I got 2 climaxes out. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. But compass requires you have to mill 3. You can't
Yeah.
stop at a climax. So it hurts you sometimes.
Oh, that would be so crazy if it just like mill up to 3, but if you hit a climax before then, or just
Yeah,
up to
that
3.
would be really broken.
Oh,
If that happened, I would run 4 without a doubt.
bro, that may be like one of the first cards to hit a ban list at some point for English, if that's the case.
Definitely. Oh,
God. But speaking of ban list and other various stuff, trying not to get affected over here, it could be one that's announced, but is there any set that's currently in Japan that you are anticipating coming over here? Like you really want to see over into English?
okay. And I was talking about this with a Houston group during the car ride to Dallas. That was Saturday afternoon, evening. I was like, hey, Persona 5 is going to English. Persona 4 is a very shitty English deck. Don't want to offend any Persona 4 fans out there, but it is just very bad by itself. And I'm like, you know what? Persona 5 has to come. The game is very popular in America. Everyone loves it. It will be a set. And I wake up today, and my friends are like, whoa, are you a psychic? Did you see the future? Because Persona 5 is an English set now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, I called it. I knew it.
I was so happy.
It has to be that. I was very, very happy, yes.
Dude, me and one of the other YouTubers, Waifu Wars, it was just a very impromptu podcast. We just decided to record one night, and we got to talking about that, and we're like, just bruh, P5, if we get that, and just like you said, it's just all of a sudden, just I am so stoked for that set. Like,
Yeah,
I
was
want
like,
other
whoa.
stuff. Like, I know people have been waiting for like Monogatari season 2, and
Yeah, I know people waiting for that and Cinderella Girls,
bruh, if second Cinderella Girl set comes over here, Triad Primus just everywhere.
That would be very crazy. Oh yeah, expect that.
But I am very, very much anticipating P5, and my wallet is very not anticipating it.
Oh my.
Like, Wallet
Yep.
Coon is just going to be just hating me. Um,
Joker's gonna cost a bunch.
that level 3 Joker. I can see that probably being almost up there, like Yami price, like current
Oh yeah,
Yami price. Like
definitely.
at least maybe out the gate. Maybe later it goes down. I don't know, but just straight up, like that'll be interesting.
Oh
Um,
yes.
did you have any other shout outs you wanted to throw out there before we wrap this up? Uh-oh, it's blipping again.
Uh, So shout out to my like whole Houston community. We're
Mhm.
like a family, you know, we don't get along. Not everyone likes me. I personally don't like everyone. No, I'm kidding. I love everyone. But but you know, sometimes we get in disagreements or whatever.
Mhm.
And I just, you know what? I won because we all put in this together.
Mhm.
And big shout outs to the two people who donated to my Conti deck, which one has to be Tyler Straight. He gave me the 3 winter moments,
Mhm.
and then Sean, he gave me all the pieces for my Conti deck that I was missing.
Mhm.
Very good guy. Shout outs to Cameron. Cameron was like, he was like a guy who rooted for me. He played
Mhm.
Niseko and he got eliminated, and I
Oh.
was like, oh no, I'm very sorry for you. And he was like, you know what, I believe you'll win, and indeed, I mean, I won with him. He was right by my side. In fact, I heard that he actually, his friends were like, let's go eat. And he was like, no, I want to watch my friend win. And there we go. I made his time worthwhile. Shout out to Kyle, who is a guy from Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
He was the guy who told me a few of the, you know, Conti belts back then.
Yeah.
And also he helped me out with a few, he helped me give some, he gave me some of his other Conti stuff for the Dallas regional, so that's a very good thing there. And he introduced me to the Angel Beats player Harrison, who's also from Oklahoma.
Dude.
2 more shout outs. One to Riaz, who is like my teacher. I'm basically his apprentice. He always wins, and I'm just down there back under his side. He's like the best person that I personally know, and he goes to our shop, so very good guy.
Mhm.
And one more. Okay, let's say 2 more once again. Mr. Anime, the guy who
Yeah.
won Worlds. Congrats to him. A very good guy. Him and Clinton are very good players. And I
Mhm.
haven't seen Clinton personally. I'd love to see him. Hopefully in the future I'll see him.
Yeah.
But hopefully those two do good. And the last one has to be to Connor. Boats don't sink. He's the
Mhm.
guy who basically corrects me if I'm wrong. Because I usually, you know, I have some wrong thoughts about Conti. He played Conti way more than me, and he did very good in Dallas and in Atlanta or wherever he plays. So
Mhm.
shout outs to him.
Oh yeah. He ended up contacting us early on, like we were first putting out, like by the time we first put out like 4 or 5 podcasts, he had been contacting us and been, throwing out ideas and uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, very knowledgeable guy.
mhm. Definitely knows his stuff. I'm not gonna deny that in any way, shape, or form.
Oh
Um,
yes.
but yeah, man. Thank you very much for joining us
Thank you
for. No problem, man. Hell, you're welcome anytime. Uh, we will wrap this up for now. This is Koolaid, and we got Mr. Joseph Asper.
Thank you.
Much appreciated, and we will see y'all on the flip side.